I'm Christina Lucasi and I translated an extract from a children's book written in rhyme from German to English.
My name is Arthur Allen and I translated a poem from Swedish.
My name is Harriet McAlonan and I translated a poem from French.
This poem was one of two children's books that I translated as part of my translation master's dissertation.
I chose to translate this poem by Maria Wine because of the intimacy of its brevity and the concentration of feeling, all within a palm of the hand-sized piece.
The poem was called Tard dans la vie by Abdelatif Labi. I had heard of Labi and greatly admired his battle for justice and cultural freedom.
Have you ever heard of Little Dwarf Dwimble? He's just twice as big as a tiny thimble. Now some people call him the Pocketable, the teeniest weeniest one possible, the smallest of dwarves that you ever did see, as friendly and helpful, polite as can be.
In the twilight of life, I'll disappear on a bench, suffering receding. I'll extinguish the fire of passions which truncated my journey.
I've barely had time to build your name with the white pebbles of the beach before the endless waves of sea have washed it away. Could I just as easily rip your name from my heart?
My name is Antoinette Fawcett. I've translated a poem from Dutch by the poet H. Ter Ballocht.
My name is Robin Mumby and I translated a poem from Asturian.
My name is Susanna V. Evans and I translated a poem from French.
What I loved about this poem was its natural and cultural imagery, its sound and its compact storytelling.
This poem is like a clarion call for La Lingua Asturiana, the Asturian language, and I enjoyed the challenge of translating it in a way that would keep the Asturian in the spotlight.
The poet Verlaine described Corbière as an amoureux furieux de la mer, a furious lover of the sea. And like Verlaine, I'm drawn to the vigour of Corbière's marine poetry. It's lively, telegraphic, bursting with speech and colloquialisms, and for this reason also notoriously difficult to translate.
The hares. I came through the fields of nothingness, where the hares raced, and the presses, standing against tiled walls, preserved drawers filled with linen and gold bronze powder.
Falala. Asturian has some beautiful palabras, words, perguapes. Thesauria, yambiotada, migalles. Don't say, in Spanish, that the stars brillan, that birds vuelan, that you want to go de marcha. The stars rescamplan, birds esnalan, and you're off out de felicia, or a correla, if you like.
Sailors. After Tristan Corbière, matelot. Some do come back though, shipwrecks debris, hacked up by pirates, riddled with scurvy, broken, disfigured, adrift, with a limp. One eye down. And you? Do you have one I could pinch?
My name is Georgina Collins and I translated a poem from French. I chose a poem from Cameroonian writer Jean-Claude Awono. As a translator potter, I immediately fell in love with the physicality of his works, where the body feels entwined with language. A name is sewn into the flesh, not shown on the forehead. A name flows in the blood, it grows in the poem, and lying at the heart of all words, a name heralds the meaning that dawns, and steers the poem from within its speech, raising its spectre from the belly of the text. And never will it part from the body of words, but in the crowds of sounds, in the surges of years, it appears, its reign extends the length of the uttering. Departing the lips, it abandons the crown, and joins the people in the collusion of laughter. The distance between name and blood thereafter won't darken the door again.
My name is James Garza, and I translated a poem from Japanese. The poem I chose to translate was Heya, or Room, by Kurobe Setsuko. I really like this poem because it doesn't begin from a position of mastery over the world, or even the small slice of the world that it deals with. The poem becomes a kind of device for investigating the sometimes uneasy ways in which self and world construct each other. It was pitch black when I came in. I held my hands out in front of me, blundered into, I think, a dish. I considered the dish. Round, with rough edges, and cold, hard, as it flinched from my fingertips. Ping! Empty. I imagined it skittering darkly, slowly away.
I'm Harry Mann, and I translated the poem The Green Tent by Endre Rousset. This poem is part of a longer sequence that he has been writing in memory of those who died in the attacks in Oslo and on Utøya Island in July 22nd, 2011. This particular poem draws on the idea of psychogeography, the kind of printing of grief and loss that's happened on the landscape. The green tent, forever changed into some light blue impact boots, forever changed into a Fair Isle sweater that sleeps out in the rain. The mobile on the path, forever changed into the rain-soaked paperback, forever changed into a butterfly earring that slips from a left earlobe. The shattered glasses, forever changed into the extinguished campfire holding its breath. The hair elastic, forever changed into a black snail, changed forever into a ponytail that dropped mid-flight. The microphone on the Utsinen, changed forever into a neglected football, changed forever into the wet, slippery rock agape to this day. The panic changed forever into silence, from the freshwater crayfish and the sleeping princesses. The grief forever changed into vines overflowing with roses. The grief changed into a decade of sleep while the roses climbed the asphalt, spread along the concrete, floor by floor, forever growing in the broken windows.